the crowds are slightly different when you go to dubstep nights, drum and bass nights, trance nights, but the house crowd seems to be quite a social event and a social crowd, really.
If you look at EDM over to America and you look at the way that they love EDM music, it's made for the masses. And if you're going to make something, it's like anything. If you're going to make something for everybody, for a large amount of people to understand, you've got to keep it quite simple. So it's not an intelligent genre. It's very simple. It's very basic. Whereas if you come to the underground, that's where people are using these clever new sounds. They're being experimental. They're creative, and they're creating something new.
I think the music is produced and developed with a lot more intelligence, and it's a lot deeper, and it's thought out. There's more groove into it. The commercial stuff can be a little bit cheesy, and
it follows a formula. The commercial stuff, it follows a formula. It works. People put their hands up in the air. They love EDM. It works. It's great. But whereas house music, underground, it doesn't have a set formula. It doesn't have a set way it needs to be. It just needs to be good music that makes people move. That's it.
You need to be well educated yourself to play in front of these people, because they're going to judge you on what you're going to play. And I think with house music, when it's underground, you get more people who have got an opinion, and you know, they might sort of dislike what you're playing because their perception of underground house music might be a little bit different.
In a time where there was quite a bit of segregation between the sort of ethnic groups, so like African Americans and white people in Chicago and all these countries, it brought together these people, and there was no prejudice, there was no negativity, there was no homophobia, there was no racism. They were all just there dancing together, and that ethos is carried on through in house music.
House music's really taken a rise, which has meant the bigger clubs have come back into fashion. People are going out later and dancing to house music till the early hours, rather than sort of standing around with a bottle of champagne listening to R&B, which isn't my idea of a fun night out.
The fact that house music is getting more commercial doesn't really affect me too much, because the bigger the commercial scene gets, the bigger the underground scene will get.
Yeah, there'll always be an underground scene.
Always be underground.
It's very accessible, the more vocal stuff, and then as people get into the scene a bit more, they tend to prefer the more educated end of the house music spectrum, stuff that hasn't got so many vocals.
House music in its structure in itself is 4/4 beat. That's the structure of it. It's really hard not to be able to move to it. You know, there's not a lot. You don't have to do a lot. You don't have to be real gifted in dance to be able to just move your shoulders, and that's the beauty of it. That's one of the core reasons why it's so popular. And I think that it can incorporate all these different ethnic cultures and all these rich cultures, and all come together. And they can just lay their sounds over house music. It combines so many different styles. So, you know, you can go to Europe, to a lot like Portugal and Spain, Latin house, and they just infuse their own cultural influences on house music because it's such a simple structure, that 4/4 beat. So technology now allows us to take these old sounds which are so iconic, these subgenres in house music, and recreate them in a contemporary way and using contemporary methods and technology.
Southampton's quite lucky in that it's got 2 universities, so there's plenty of young students from all over the country and, like yourself, from outside the country.
It's not a big city, and with it not being a big city, the club here, Junk, it's a nice intimate venue, and it's like no other. There really isn't many others. We got voted Britain's best small club 2 years ago, and the reason for that, the reason for getting nominated in the first place is because it is such a small city and it's such a small, close-knit community of people and like-minded people coming to the club, and it just suits the vibe, suits the atmosphere is like no other.
In unison, as one, slowly. Isaac, stop bumping. Isaac, stop bumping the man. 3, 2,
1. With Switch, we wanted to take it to the next level and make sure that not only the music was great, the production was great, and it was just a bigger room to really feel it with as many other people as possible on a night out.
You know, Junk's been doing well for a long time. Switch has come in, and I think they're working well together. You know, but it's what Southampton needs. It's what the underground scene needs in Southampton. Is to see the DJs who play that type of music, which fans want to listen to. You know, and both clubs are doing that on a weekly basis of bringing in the big names.
Saturdays will always be the more house music based and as underground and credible as we can make it. Doing the more commercial artists midweek on perhaps Wednesday, Thursday, Friday means that we have the money to make the Saturday as good as we hope it could be.
I think you will get a different crowd in Switch than you would in Junk, because Switch, they do keep it underground, but they also have a wider spectrum of people that they would book to pull in numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, they treat it as a business, which is no fault. That's the way it is, you know.
As much as we'd love to just do the more dance music events all day long, it's a business, and the commercial value of the premises needs to be put to its best use.
We wouldn't have these decent artists coming in like James Abelia, Christoph and stuff like that if it weren't for the commercial aspects.
I mean, we're never going to be quite as big as your Fabrics, your Ministry of Sounds, your Warehouse Projects, your Motions, but we want to sit in just behind those big super clubs and be a club that, if you're really into your house music and you like to travel to enjoy it, that we want to be on that tick list.
I think Junk have benefited from Switch being around, because what they have done is taken all the cheeseheads that love commercial music and not really there for the music, the kind of people that would ask you for dubstep if you're playing a really nice techno set, and they've taken them out of Junk and they've allowed it for more room for the educated people to be there. So it's become, and it was nominated and won the best small club in the UK. So yeah, there's a reason for that. Switch and Junk, without it, it wouldn't work.
The record's breaking.